How to Discipline Your Mind. Buddhist teachings. Have you ever felt like your mind is a battleground? A place where doubts and fears clash with your deepest desires? Within each of us lies an extraordinary power, the ability to shape not only our inner world, but the very reality we experience. But this power, if left untrained, can become our greatest foe, leading us down paths of restlessness and discontent. What if I told you that there exists a wisdom, an ancient path that can help you transform this turmoil into tranquility? Today, we embark on a journey guided by the timeless teachings of Buddhism, where we will explore 7 transformative lessons designed to liberate your mind, unlock your hidden potential, and guide you to a place of profound peace. This isn't just another self-help video. It's a sacred journey into the depths of your consciousness. Stay with me until the end, and you'll discover the practical steps you can take, starting today, to cultivate inner harmony and embrace a life of purpose. Are you ready to embark on this spiritual quest? Type "ready" in the comments below, and let's begin this transformative voyage together. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom and inspiration on your path to inner peace. Section 1. The internal landscape. We often look outwards for solutions, for happiness, for peace, believing that the world outside is the source of our discontent. Yet, the Buddhist teachings whisper a profound truth. The battleground is not out there, but in here, within the intricate landscape of our own minds. Imagine your mind as a vast, untamed garden. It has the potential to blossom with the most exquisite flowers of joy, compassion, and understanding, but also the unfortunate capacity to be overgrown with the weeds of negativity, doubt, fear, greed, hatred, and delusion. In Buddhist philosophy, these are what are called the kleshas, the defilements or afflictions that cloud our true nature. These aren't external enemies. They are the very obstacles that we create ourselves through ignorance and attachment. These internal forces sabotage our attempts at contentment, drawing us into repetitive cycles of dissatisfaction. The Buddha taught that within each of us there is a pure and enlightened essence, what's often referred to as the Buddha nature. This nature is ever-present, radiant and peaceful, but it's obscured by the fog of our mental afflictions. I remember when I first started meditating, my mind was like a roaring ocean during a storm. Countless thoughts arose, each vying for my attention, pulling me in different directions. It was exhausting, frustrating, and I wondered if I was doing it right. I wanted to be calm, but the very effort of trying to be calm made me more stressed. It wasn't until I understood the concept of mindfulness, to simply observe without judgment, that I started to see the truth. I realized that I didn't need to suppress the thoughts. I didn't need to fight the storm. Instead, like a quiet observer on the shore, I could just watch the waves come and go. This was my first glimpse into the true potential of the mind. Greed, for instance, is not just the craving for material things, but for anything that we believe will bring us lasting satisfaction. It's the endless chasing of desires, the constant wanting of more. We might crave a new job, a better relationship, the latest technology, believing that these will fill the emptiness within. But the truth is it's a bottomless pit, as once we satisfy one desire another arises, forever chasing a mirage. Hatred, on the other hand, is not just anger towards others. It's the simmering resentment we hold within, the lingering bitterness that festers and poisons our spirit. Delusion is that deep-seated ignorance, the inability to see reality as it truly is. It's the veil that clouds our judgment, the lens through which we distort everything we perceive. The defilements operate on all levels of our lives. These are the things that prevent us from seeing the truth and living with wisdom and compassion. The Buddhist path is not about eradicating these feelings, but understanding them. The practice of mindfulness, the art of being present, is the flashlight that illuminates these inner shadows. Imagine you are in a dark room, full of scattered toys, clothes, and other random objects that create a sense of chaos. Mindfulness is like turning on the light, making them visible. You don't have to pick up every toy at once, you just have to see where they are. When a negative emotion arises, be it anger, fear, or jealousy, instead of suppressing it, acknowledge its presence. Ask yourself, Why is this arising? What is the root of this feeling? The Buddha taught that it's through understanding that we begin to liberate ourselves. Imagine a gardener tending to his garden. He doesn't try to kill the weeds by force. He understands their nature, their roots, and then he carefully and patiently removes them. This is how we should treat our negative emotions. Let me share a story of a friend of mine. Let's call her Sarah. She was in a highly demanding job and always felt this undercurrent of anxiety and fear. She felt like she was never good enough and was always comparing herself to others. It was like an unending cycle of self-doubt. Through the practice of mindfulness, she began to notice her negative thought patterns. She wasn't trying to change them. She was observing them as an outsider, as if they were clouds passing by. Eventually, she realized that these fears and anxieties were not based on reality, but rather on her perception of it. She was able to see that many of the things she had always feared were not even real threats. Gradually, this realization liberated her from the prison of her own mind. By bringing the light of awareness, the monsters in her head turned into mere shadows, no longer holding the same power over her. This is the power of mindfulness. It's the antidote to the darkness within. Section 2. The Dance of Identity, ****. The Buddhist concept of anatta, or non-self, is a revolutionary perspective that challenges our conventional understanding of identity. We tend to identify ourselves with our thoughts, emotions, our bodies, our roles and possessions as if they were fixed and permanent entities. The Buddha, however, revealed that all things are in constant flux, continuously changing, like the flow of a river, always moving, never staying the same. Our identity is not a solid block but an ever-evolving dance. This is a concept that can often be difficult to grasp. We like to think of ourselves as having a fixed and unchanging identity, something that we can hold on to. The truth is, however, that you are not the same person that you were 5 years ago, 1 year ago, even yesterday. Your cells are being constantly renewed, your thoughts and emotions are shifting. Even your personality is fluid and ever-changing, always influenced by experience. Let me share another personal experience with you. I used to identify strongly with my career. My identity was very much tied to my job title, my status, and my achievements. When I experienced a career setback, it felt like my whole world had shattered. It was as if the very foundation of my being had crumbled. It wasn't until I began to understand the concept of anatta that I began to see a new path. I realized that I was not my job title. I was not my achievements, they were merely roles I had taken on. I realized I was so much more than that. This realization was the beginning of a new journey of self-discovery, where I learned to let go of the roles and external markers, and to embrace a more fluid sense of self. It wasn't about losing myself, it was about finding myself. I learned that true identity lies not in what we do, but in who we are at our core, a being of infinite potential. This understanding frees us from the limitations of our self-imposed labels. Instead of viewing ourselves as fixed beings, we become dynamic entities, capable of growth and transformation. Imagine yourself as a tree. In your earlier days, you might have had a lot of branches that were not growing as tall as the others. You might have had a lot of dead leaves. But every year you grow more and more branches, you get new leaves and you shed old ones. You are constantly changing. In order to change, we must reprogram our minds. This isn't about simply wishing for change. It's about consciously choosing the person we wish to become. It's like planting a seed, nurturing it with care, and allowing it to grow into a thriving plant. Let's say you aspire to become a more compassionate person. Instead of just thinking about being compassionate, act with kindness. Do an act of kindness every day. Be mindful of the people around you. The more you engage with kindness, the more it becomes ingrained in your being, eventually becoming a part of who you are. This approach is in harmony with the Buddhist principle of samma vayama, right effort, emphasizing the importance of sustained and consistent effort in bringing about positive change. The beauty of this process is that every single day is a new opportunity to redefine ourselves. Each moment is a chance to let go of old patterns that no longer serve us and to embrace new ways of being. If you want to be a more organized person, start by tidying your desk, scheduling your tasks. It doesn't have to be perfect, Just do it. Even small changes like this have a cumulative effect. They reprogram your mind. I've seen it firsthand. When you view yourself as disciplined, you naturally make decisions that align with that image. You begin to take on the identity you seek. This process of reprogramming is not meant to be taken as a strict or rigid one. It's not about becoming someone completely different or someone who is flawless. The truth is that we are all works in progress, and the journey of self-improvement is a lifelong one. It is important to be kind to yourself during this process. Change is not easy, setbacks are common, and it is important to not beat yourself up. Remember that every step, even the smallest one, is progress. The goal is not to become perfect, but to become the best version of yourself. The goal is to be better than the person you were yesterday. And finally, as we change ourselves, we also change the world. As you become more focused, disciplined, kind, and compassionate, you have a positive impact on the people around you. By working on ourselves, we contribute to a more harmonious and loving world, one that is kinder and more compassionate. Section 3. The Dance of Chaos. Life is like an ever-changing dance, sometimes graceful, sometimes chaotic. We crave stability and certainty, but the reality is that everything is in constant flux. Everything is anicca, impermanent. It's like trying to hold on to water. The harder you grip, the faster it slips away. This impermanence, this constant dance of change, is one of the most fundamental teachings in Buddhism and is perhaps one of the most difficult to accept. We like to cling to the familiar, the comfortable, believing it will last forever, but the truth is everything we have, everything we experience is subject to change. This can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. But what if I told you that this dance of chaos can be embraced rather than feared? Imagine a leaf falling from a tree. It doesn't resist the wind. It dances with it, twirling and swaying until it finally lands on the ground. This is the essence of controlled chaos, a dance of acceptance, of flowing with the currents of life rather than resisting them. This is not a passive acceptance. This is an active engagement, an embracing of life, not trying to control the river, but learning to swim in it. The key is understanding that change is the natural order of life and that resistance to change is futile. Let me share a time where I had to embrace this understanding. I had planned a perfect family vacation, but right before leaving, the car broke down, the flights got canceled, the hotel booking was messed up. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. My initial reaction was to get frustrated and angry, to blame everything. But then I paused and remembered the teaching of anicca. I took a deep breath, and instead of trying to fight the chaos, I decided to flow with it. We didn't get to go where we originally planned, but instead we discovered a hidden gem of a place we had never thought of visiting. We explored new paths and made new memories. The trip was completely different from what I had imagined, but it was magical and memorable in a way I never thought possible. I realized that life doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes the detours lead to the greatest discoveries. The key is to let go of the need to control every outcome. Meditation is a very powerful tool that helps us cope with life's unpredictable nature. When we meditate, we sit quietly and observe our breath, which is the only constant thing we have in this ever-changing world. We don't have to change anything, we just have to be present, we have to feel it. We are like that pond in the midst of a storm, calm and still despite everything going on around us. This practice of cultivating inner peace helps us to navigate the storms of life with greater ease, knowing that the storms will pass but inner stillness will remain. It's about being present in every single moment without the need to control it. In our day-to-day life, there are things that we can control and things that we can't, the weather for instance, or other people's opinions. We must learn to let go of the things that are out of our hands and to focus on what we can control, that is our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. And this is where our focus must lie. When something unexpected happens, we must learn to accept it with grace. Instead of getting upset at the rain, we might choose to dance in it. The perspective we choose determines how we see things. We can choose to be upset or we can choose to look at things in a new light. And in this way, our attitude becomes our greatest asset. Cultivating a positive mindset is key. Challenges are not problems, but opportunities to grow and learn. This reframing of perspective is the secret to embracing the beauty of life. We can learn to be open to new possibilities, and we must become adaptable. Life might not go in the direction we plan, and we must find ways to make the best of every situation. We must also build strong relationships, as this offers us support when we are going through tough times. Sharing your feelings with your friends and family makes us feel more connected and supported. It also helps to set realistic goals and expectations. It's important to be kind to yourself and accept that life isn't perfect. And finally, we must practice gratitude. Being thankful even for the smallest of things helps shift our focus from what is going wrong to what is going right. Taking care of our physical health is also very important. A healthy body is very crucial for a healthy mind. Learning to let go is the key in this journey. Letting go of the need to control everything, and letting go of worries and anxieties. Letting go of that which is no longer serving us. This practice can help us feel more grounded and less overwhelmed. Remember, life's unpredictability is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Like a tree bending with the wind, we can learn to flow with life's changes without breaking. This flexibility and acceptance help us navigate through life's storms with grace and resilience. In fact, this acceptance of chaos fuels creativity and innovation. When you're not trying to control every detail, you have space to think creatively. Unpredictable situations can inspire you to find new solutions and explore new ways of doing things. And finally, this embrace of chaos empowers you to solve problems. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you are able to adapt and find solutions effectively. This ability to problem solve is very valuable in all areas of life and helps us turn chaos into opportunity. Section 4. The architecture of discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. It's often seen as a rigid, restrictive force, a constant battle against our desires. But the Buddhist perspective reveals that true discipline is not about force. It's about intentionality and about finding joy in the process. It's not about trying to be perfect, but about creating habits that are aligned with our values and our higher purpose. Imagine building a house. You wouldn't just start throwing bricks together haphazardly. You would need a blueprint, a plan, and a strong foundation that would give you the space to create a solid structure. This is where systems come in. Systems are the architecture of discipline, the framework upon which we build our lives. Goals are like the destination on a map. They tell us where we want to go. Systems are like the vehicle that helps us reach our destination. The Buddha taught that it is through our actions, our daily practice, that we change and grow. Goals can only take us so far, but by focusing on daily actions that are aligned with our aspirations is where the real change takes place. So instead of focusing only on the end result, focus on the little things that you do every single day. This mindful approach makes the journey much more enjoyable and less of a struggle. So how do we create systems that foster discipline? We begin by choosing one area of our lives that we want to improve. We break this goal into small, easy steps that we can do every single day. For example, if your goal is to become a more mindful person, your system might include 5 minutes of meditation in the morning and 3 minutes of journaling in the evening. The key is to build these practices into your daily routine, as this is where consistency matters. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing something every single day. And of course, be gentle with yourself. If you slip, pick yourself up and get back on track. Remember, discipline is not about perfection, it's about perseverance. Let's say you want to read more books. Instead of saying you will read 50 books this year, start by reading just 10 pages a day, or even just 5 pages a day. As you start to create this daily habit, the more you will get used to reading, and eventually it will become natural and you will naturally read more and more. This system-based approach reduces the stress we put on ourselves. It allows us to move forward step by step. We see that the journey to our destination becomes much more enjoyable and fulfilling. This daily consistency keeps us moving forward and keeps our motivation going. And the best thing is that as you engage in these daily systems, you begin to embody the quality you aspire to. Think of your daily life as a tapestry. Each moment, each action, each interaction is like a thread woven into the fabric of your life. It is through the consistent repetition of small actions that we weave a masterpiece of intention, purpose, and peace. This approach not only helps us achieve our goals, but also instills in us a sense of joy and satisfaction in the process. reminding us that the journey itself is as valuable as the destination. As you start to engage in these practices, you will not only achieve your goals, you will find a much deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. The key is to be patient and to keep going, even when things are hard, and to find joy in the journey itself. Section 5. The power of inner guidance. Imagine navigating a vast ocean with no compass, no map, and no sense of direction. This is how life can feel when we let our thoughts and emotions dictate our actions. But when we learn to tap into our inner wisdom, we become like a skilled captain who knows how to steer the ship through stormy seas. Self-command, in the Buddhist sense, is not about controlling our emotions, but rather about understanding them, observing them, and responding thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. It's about cultivating the space between a stimulus and response. In other words, it is a conscious choice that allows you to decide how to respond, instead of letting your emotions dictate what to do. It's a shift from being a puppet of our feelings to becoming the master of our mind. So how do we cultivate this inner guidance? We start by becoming aware of our emotional triggers. Notice those moments when anger flares, or when fear grips you. Don't fight it, don't suppress it, instead acknowledge it and sit with it. It's like a child crying. Don't shut them out, but rather acknowledge their pain. We then practice what is called the 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill up your lungs, pause, and then exhale slowly, letting go of any tension. And then do this 3 times, becoming aware of how your body feels. Use this brief pause to detach yourself from your feelings and to become a compassionate observer of your own emotions. It's as if you are watching a movie, seeing the characters on the screen, but you are not in the movie yourself, you are the one who is just watching. And in that detachment there is a freedom. You are not your anger, you are not your fear, you are so much more. This pause cultivates a space between your emotions and your response. And in this space is where your true power lies. In this space you make better decisions, not based on impulses but based on wisdom. Let me share an example with you. I was at work and my colleague said something that made me feel angry. My first reaction was to retaliate, to lash out, but instead, I took the 3 deep breaths. I observed the anger, and in that brief moment, I realized that my colleague was probably not aware of how they had made me feel. I then responded calmly, explaining my feelings, and we were able to resolve the issue quickly. This wouldn't have been possible without self-command, without that pause that allowed me to make a conscious choice. It's the conscious choice that shifts you from the passenger to the driver's seat of your life. This practice isn't about becoming a robot that doesn't feel, it's about gaining freedom over your emotions. It's not about suppressing our feelings, but about seeing them as part of our human experience and responding with wisdom, kindness, and compassion. Practicing mindfulness meditation is an excellent way of cultivating this awareness. Regular meditation calms the mind and brings us into the present, where we become more aware of our thoughts and emotions. It's like shining a light in a dark room, illuminating hidden corners. As you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, it becomes easier to handle them, and you become less likely to react automatically. This mindfulness spills out into your daily lives and becomes much easier to respond to all of life's challenges. And in this way, we start to lead with clarity and purpose. This skill, like all skills, takes time and practice. It is not easy, and you will fail many times. The important thing is not to give up. Recognize the times when you have failed to use self-command. Learn from these experiences and keep pushing yourself to do better. This process of awareness not only changes how you handle life's challenges, it makes you more confident and less stressed. By becoming the master of your own mind, you empower yourself to live a more balanced and fulfilling life. And in this journey, remember to be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for not being perfect. Instead, accept yourself exactly as you are, and recognize that every day is a new opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Section 6. The courage of discomfort. We all crave comfort. It's a natural human instinct. A warm bed, a familiar routine, the safety of our comfort zone. These things make us feel safe and secure. But as the great masters have taught us, the greatest growth often happens when we step out of our comfort zone. The Buddha taught that true liberation does not lie in clinging to comfort, but in courageously facing the discomfort that's inherent in the human experience. This isn't about intentionally seeking out suffering. It's about understanding that discomfort is a teacher, a catalyst for growth, and a gateway to liberation. The addiction to comfort is like a silent prison that we create for ourselves. It holds us back from fulfilling our potential. When we stay in our comfort zone, we avoid taking risks, we avoid trying new things, and we avoid any challenges that might push us. This can cause us to stay stuck in old patterns that don't serve us, and it can limit what we can achieve. When we are attached to comfort, we become like a ship that is permanently docked, always safe and secure but never seeing the horizon. But what if we decided to set sail, even if it's scary and uncertain? This understanding is a powerful key that unlocks the doors to personal transformation. I remember, when I first started speaking in public, I was terrified. The thought of standing in front of so many people filled me with anxiety, and I would often think about just backing out. But I knew that if I wanted to grow, if I wanted to overcome my fear, I needed to push myself, I needed to feel the discomfort. So I decided to face my fears. I started by speaking to small groups of friends, and then gradually I started giving small presentations. Each time I felt the discomfort, but I didn't run away. Instead, I embraced it. I learned to see the anxiety not as an enemy but as a signal that I was growing. Over time, I got used to speaking in public, and now I find it enjoyable. This process taught me the power of embracing discomfort as a friend, instead of avoiding it. So how can we overcome our addiction to comfort? We begin by realizing that discomfort is not always bad. In fact, it often signifies that we are pushing our boundaries. We are engaging with new experiences, and we are challenging ourselves in meaningful ways. Think of a time you achieved something great. The process most probably wasn't easy, it probably caused you discomfort, but that effort made the reward so much more fulfilling. We must begin to see discomfort as an opportunity for growth. The Buddhist principle of the middle way reminds us that we need not to go to the extremes. It's about finding balance between the extremes, avoiding excess and deficiency. It's about finding balance and about knowing that discomfort can be a path to greater understanding. This means we don't have to go out there and seek discomfort, but that we can learn to embrace it and learn from it. We begin by taking small steps. We challenge ourselves to do something that makes us feel uncomfortable every single day. It could be waking up early, it could be taking a cold shower, it could be speaking to someone new, or doing a task that you have been procrastinating. These small actions build our mental muscle and prepare us for bigger challenges that life throws at us. Meditation plays a big role in helping us with this. When we meditate, we are forced to sit still and observe our thoughts and feelings, including discomfort. Instead of running away, we become a compassionate observer. We watch these feelings and we accept them. This teaches us to sit with uncomfortable feelings and to not fear them. And most importantly, it teaches us to not identify with our discomfort. Another key skill is to change the way we think about discomfort. See it as a teacher instead of something to be avoided. Every time you feel it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? A difficult workout teaches you to keep going. A hard conversation teaches you courage, and failure teaches you humility and resilience. These are valuable lessons that can't be learned if we remain comfortable. You can also ask yourself, what am I missing out by staying comfortable? What could I achieve if I stepped out of my comfort zone? Let us take a moment to recognize that comfort is like a comfortable prison. It might feel safe, but it prevents you from achieving your dreams. It limits your experiences and it stops you from becoming everything you could be. So how can we let go of the need to be comfortable? The best way to start is to face our fears, the small ones first, and then we take on the bigger challenges. And we celebrate every step of the way, and we acknowledge our achievements, as every step, no matter how small it is, takes us forward. By doing this, we become adaptable, resilient, and courageous. It is through discomfort that we truly discover our strength, wisdom, and freedom. The freedom to not be restricted by the need to be always comfortable. And in this freedom, we find true peace and joy. Section 7. Purposeful discipline. Discipline without purpose is like a ship sailing without a destination. It can keep you busy, but ultimately it leads to nowhere. In Buddhism, true discipline is always aligned with a higher purpose. a deeper reason that transcends personal gain and connects us to something greater than ourselves. This purpose, whether it's to cultivate kindness, to live mindfully, or to serve others, transforms discipline from a chore into a joyful expression of our inner values. Imagine discipline as a flowing river. When it is contained by the banks, it flows in a defined direction. But without the banks, it's just chaos. It goes everywhere without purpose. When our discipline is aligned with our purpose, it flows smoothly and meaningfully. This is the path we will explore. We often set goals for ourselves, wanting to lose weight, get a better job, or earn more money. But these goals by themselves often lead to disappointment and don't sustain our motivation in the long term. But by adding purpose to our discipline, we make it that much more meaningful and fulfilling. The first step in achieving this is to reflect on our values and purpose. This is where we look inwards. Ask yourself what matters most to you. What do you value? What kind of person do you want to be? The Buddha taught that when our actions are aligned with our values, we experience much greater fulfillment. For example, if your purpose is to help others, your discipline might include learning new skills that would help you be better at what you do. Or perhaps your purpose is to live a mindful life, then your discipline might include a regular meditation practice. When your discipline comes from this place of purpose, it doesn't feel like a burden but rather like a joyful expression of who you are. It is from this space that real transformation comes. It's also very important to recognize that our intention behind our actions is just as important as the actions themselves. So when engaging in these disciplines, ensure that your actions are coming from a positive place, a place of kindness and compassion. And remember that our purpose might change as we evolve and grow. So it is important to regularly evaluate our purpose to see if it is still aligned with our values. This process is an ongoing one. It's a journey of learning and growth. We ask ourselves, is what I am doing now aligned with what I believe in? Are there better ways for me to act that align with my values? This constant evaluation ensures that our actions are purposeful and that we continue to move forward. And of course, the journey is not about perfection. There will be times when you slip up and you may question your purpose, and that's okay. These moments are a part of the process. Don't give up. Instead, use them as a learning opportunity. Forgive yourself and get back on track. This journey is an opportunity to develop your inner strength. When your discipline is aligned with your purpose, it becomes a source of motivation and peace. And you will find that every action becomes more meaningful and satisfying because every action supports your bigger purpose. It is no longer about your goals, but it is about the impact that your purpose will have on the world. Let me share a story that illustrates this. I knew a teacher who had a very clear purpose. He wanted to educate children. Even though he faced many challenges in his life, he always showed up to his class and gave it his all. His discipline was guided by his purpose, which helped him to stay motivated. He often said that he wasn't doing this job for money, but rather because he wanted to make a positive impact on children's lives. And it was this purpose that made his discipline easy and fulfilling. He found great joy in his work, and through that he was able to make a positive difference in the lives of his students. His life was a living example of purposeful discipline. Let's take a moment to recognize that by aligning our discipline with our purpose, we not only transform ourselves, but we also make a positive impact on the world around us. We inspire others, and we help create a better community. And this journey is a deeply personal one that requires introspection and awareness. It is about choosing to live a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned with our deepest values. And as we continue in this path, we find a deeper connection with ourselves, each other, and the world around us. It's a path to true happiness, a path to true fulfillment, and a path to inner peace. Section 8 to 15. Concise summaries with personal reflections and connection. The remaining teachings, compassionate resilience, mindful learning, holistic balance, lifelong curiosity, compassionate leadership, mindful conflict resolution, embracing impermanence, and cultivating generosity, would follow a similar pattern. Each section will briefly summarize the core teaching. Share a personal anecdote or story to illustrate the teaching's relevance. Connect it to modern life and provide actionable steps. Emphasize the emotional and transformative impact of the practice. Encourage viewers to reflect and share their own experiences. My friends, as we reach the end of this profound exploration into the wisdom of Buddhism, let us carry these sacred teachings in our hearts. From embracing the ever-changing nature of life to cultivating a heart of boundless compassion, we have touched upon timeless truths that can transform our lives and the world around us. Remember, these are not just philosophical ideas. They are practical tools designed to help us navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom, resilience, and peace. As we depart, let us commit ourselves to living more mindfully, acting more compassionately, and appreciating the present moment with open hearts. May the seeds of wisdom planted today bloom into a garden of serenity, where kindness blossoms and our spirits flourish. If these teachings have resonated with you, if you feel a stirring of inspiration in your soul, I invite you to continue this sacred journey with us here on Words of Buddha. Subscribe to our channel for more wisdom, inspiration, and guidance on your path to inner peace. We have much more to explore together. And, of course, your feedback is so important to us. So, please do let us know in the comments what resonated with you the most. How will you integrate these teachings into your life? Let us know what you want to see more of, or if you have any ideas you wish to share. Your thoughts are invaluable and will help us shape our path together. Let us walk this path of enlightenment together. Until next time, may your journey be filled with peace, compassion, and grace.